going, bro. We hopped up on that bus. It's Chill, Hight, and Raji. Glad you came to whip with us. Got no GPS or telling what we gon' discuss. Shout out Thompson Farms. They got the melons and the...
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Big Ugly Sports Show, brought to you by Premier Properties of Dublin. We are your first source for mediocre sports coverage, and I do mean mediocre at best. We're glad you're joining us this morning. My name is Chill. Let's bring in the other two guys we got with us this morning. Sitting to my right, he is a UGA graduate. He's a diehard dog, class of 2007. He can make a bottle of mouthwash stink. His bottom row's seen better days, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about the pride of Buddy Johnson Road, Adam Hight, Hightower.
Hey, what's going on?
What's good, fam?
Great intro.
You know what I was thinking? I feel like it's not really accurate. My bottom row has never seen better days.
At one point, maybe.
When they
Came out like that?
They came in crooked.
When the first few came in and they weren't crowded.
Yeah, right there. And sitting across from you, you heard his raggedy voice just then. He's the redheaded wonder, also from Buddy Johnson Road. Filling in for Raji today, we've got Matt Opie Hightower. What's up?
Hey, Oak.
Hey, me.
The raggedy voice.
Close to the mic this time. I learned.
Got it tilted the right way. Well, you know, it's your first time. And one thing that Hight's coined is, this mic, well, it don't really fit here, but the mic gives you power. Can we agree with that?
There is a lot of power.
He wasn't ready for that last week.
There's some responsibility that comes along with that power. And now, have I abused that power?
You have?
At times? Yeah, some have said. Some have said I have.
You live, you learn.
Well, some of my comments I stand behind. Others, like I offended.
Don't go too far. Let's stay surface level. Let's stay surface level.
I offended some people this past weekend. My family with my Buddy Johnson Road list.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I left. Opie was off. He's not even top 5, obviously. And I just ran down the men. So if I included the women, he may be outside the top 10. But my mom was pretty ticked that I didn't have her in there.
Sandy just didn't make the list.
Yeah.
It's on you, Hut.
Well, I'm actually flattered because this whole list is all about me, really. I mean, you constantly say I'm not on the list. I'm mentioned more than anybody on the list. I'm breathing down your neck so hard.
So do you think the whole reason we're having the discussion of who is the pride of Buddy is because of he's insecure about it because of you?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I may, the reason we're discussing this is because when he was listening to the show, he was offended, like very taken aback, flabbergasted.
Listen,
even
it's easy to just proclaim
Flabbergasted.
things.
I didn't make.
You can say
but
anything.
here I didn't make the proclamation.
Chill.
The fans made
I can
the
run a
proclamation.
4.340. Do you see how I just said that? It does not make it true.
See, he told you he wasn't ready for prime time. He's not ready.
So Uncle G a little upset too, or was he okay?
He hammered me a little bit.
He's probably really the pride, but I mean,
well, he's a solid second place.
Yeah.
But I gave my hat tip to my granddaddy. R.I.P. Lyman.
Aunt Cindy, Uncle G, sorry that you didn't make Hight's list. Maybe next time you'll be in there.
Well, they need
Give
to
it
step
more
it up
time.
a little bit.
They still got time to do something.
So recapping for me, we talked about the Hawks game a little bit last week, and I had the opportunity to go with Wade on last Thursday.
Yeah, I appreciate that invite. I wanted to come, but I was just a little busy. But I'm glad y'all found somebody else to have my spot.
Yeah, there were 2 more tickets, and we checked you first, and obviously you couldn't. So then we pulled the trigger on.
I'm a family guy, big family guy.
Want to spend time with his kids, but Hawks end up going down. Great environment, man. It was electric in there. But until next year, so we're not going to talk about the Hawks much because I know the first thing we're going to get this morning is a text from Jay talking about how we started the show on the Hawks, how he hates that. So, but got to move on from Trae Young, I think, but we'll see. So, before we go any further, shout out we forgot last week, Hight. We talked about it briefly on the radio show, but shout out to Mike Thompson and the slow pitch softball team for winning the slow pitch state championship as well. Anything for MT?
T, he's my guy. He's right next door to me down on the 200 hall, and he's just a champion. Just exudes excellence, and now he's got 2 rings, and so that's kind of a challenge to Mitch Lawhorn. He's only got 1 ring, 2 titles, 1 ring. I guess Mike and Jody did it better than Mitch and I did.
He said Mitch and I. So yeah, congratulations to them winning the slow pitch and fast pitch state tournament, and also he produced Jace, who is arguably the top cameraman
Oh, my God.
in the game.
Jace Thompson is a rare talent. But I don't want to leave out Wyatt Curry also. I mean, you talk about dedication. Wyatt Curry was,
he was on the brink.
He's returned.
Yeah, well, he hadn't fully forgiven me yet, but I understand. Hey, that's part of the game.
Did you do him dirty? Yes. Some have said yes.
Some have said.
But Curry was bellied down on the green, recording our putts. And I wish more putts would have rolled in.
It would have made a great camera view, wouldn't it?
Man, it would have been great. But we missed a lot of putts at great. He had a great angle of us missing all those putts. But
The view as it rolled somewhat near the hole.
But Jason White, Jace is the man.
So update on the Raider Rumble footage. We're a week and a half in, and I'm got about 2 holes done. So
that's a great pace.
Should be out around Christmas at some point. We'll be able to
right after the T-shirts come in.
Yeah, they're coming on at the same time.
They're in the mail actually on the way.
No. Right now, I guarantee the ball's in his court too.
There's a lot of field days
Could be.
still happen.
The ball's in his court because every time I ask him if you got any, let me check. Like he's not regularly checking to see if this person. So isn't there somebody that you can?
I saw the guy in the office yesterday.
Can you check in on it for me? Now that
You talking about T-shirt Todd?
Mm-hmm.
Todd, he's passed me off. He's not my guy. I don't work with him anymore.
I just need somebody else because Hight just refuses to do it. Just get any momentum behind it. Fans are asking.
I'm in it today. I'm on it today. Getting after it.
Clamoring.
I have to remind him. Also, good luck to the West Lawrence golf team as we head this week. We leave on Wednesday. Got a practice round over at Georgia Southern's course and got area golf on Thursday. So the boys and girls teams trying to take care of business there. Now, real quick before we move on, Hight, staying in the West Lawrence area. How about the baseball team, man, and how that thing went down over the weekend? So our baseball team here got beat yesterday in the second round of state playoffs by Whitewater. Fought hard in the second game. In game 3, just gave up too many runs. But in the first game, they won. Second game, they're down 6-2 after 5. This was on Saturday, and then
Top of the sixth,
bases loaded, walk, makes it 6-3. Next guy up, grand slam, 7-6. No outs. End up getting 2 runners on with 2 outs. Call the game for rain. Raiders up 7-6. Within 30 minutes, GHSA makes a rule to revert back to the 5th inning. Final game, Whitewater 6-2 win. So a lot of upset people in Raider Nation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not going to be a popular opinion.
It's the rule. Is that what you're going to say?
I read the rule book, and the thing that I thought it all kind of hinged on was the phrase, if a winner cannot be determined, it will be resumed. Play will be resumed. Like if a game is called due to weather and a winner cannot be determined, it will resume play. But a winner can be determined if it has become an official game.
But see, it don't say that in the writing, like as far as that.
I know that's why I'm saying it was left open to interpretation.
Right, yeah.
Which is never good. Mm-mm. So, but as far as did it go, did they apply the rule based on interpretation? I could see it being argued, yes. Now, do I think that rule was in the spirit of competition? No, not at all. Do I think that they made the wrong ruling for what was best for the game in high school athletics? Definitely the wrong call. In regular season, I could understand it happening. In postseason, when you got people, could be win or go home type situation, you want to play the 7 innings. You don't ever want to cut it short because I feel like that cheapens the process of finding out who the best teams are. So
it's like the grand slam and all that emotion. It's like it never happened.
Yeah,
never happened.
But now let me ask you this: I'm gonna play devil's advocate. What if we had gotten to 2 outs in the top of the 6th with no runs? It was still 6-2, and then they called the game. Would anybody care?
Probably not. No, probably not as much because they would have said that the winner can be determined because they're losing. That was I was talking to one of the baseball coaches. He said that the reason they got hung up on it is a winner couldn't be determined because now they had taken the lead in the top half. Now if they were losing, you've had it ain't. But yeah, I mean, no, there definitely wouldn't have been as much of a uproar. I don't think.
But it wasn't unfamiliar to me because Dudley Little League rules, those are the same, and we had that same exact thing happen in this year in Dudley Little League. And there was a bunch of folks I go to church with. Their kids were on the other team, and we were winning till the top half of the inning. They took a lead, and we got rained out, and they thought they won because the game got called. They took a lead. Well, Dudley Little League says it reverts back to the previous completed inning, so we got that dub.
But like you said, I think the difference is in the playoffs. You just like you said, you got to play it. I mean, take out a paper and pen and write down where everybody's at, what the situation is.
You got the official rule book. Just check that and come back and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But congratulations to Josh Carter, all those guys over there. I think they ended up 29-5 this year, which is outstanding. So congratulations to that. Now, Opie, we'll go to you right here. Let's recap. We're all Falcons fans here, so we're freshly coming off the draft ending last week. What's maybe your takeaway from the Falcons or something that pops out from the draft?
So initially, I was very upset by the Bijan Robinson pick.
Clear your throat.
I didn't see a need. It wasn't a need pick. It was a luxury pick, as if we were already stacked everywhere and we were just getting that best player available, just setting up our running game. We have 3 people on our roster already, 3 running backs plus Mariota would be 4. That averaged over 4.8 yards a carry last year. So we're already running the ball well. Is it nice to have Bijan Robinson? Yes, it is. But is it as big a need as a pass rusher or really anybody that stands out on defense whatsoever? I didn't think so. But last night I was doing a little research, and I really got into the draft philosophy of the Falcons, which is high character guys. Apparently that's something that they have really been focused on over the last year or two. That was the reason they did not have Jalen Carter on their board. They felt like he was not as high character guy. Bijan was a super high character guy in their opinion and a transcendent running back, one of the best to come off the draft board in 10 years, according to them. So what I am excited about is the opportunity to have one of those other running backs that we already have, plus Bijan in the backfield at the same time. He's a great receiver. It opens up a ton of flexibility with their packages to be able to throw the ball to guys out of the backfield line. One of those, like you got Cordarrelle Patterson, who also used to be a wide receiver who can catch the ball very well too. You could easily bring both those guys in the same package, have one split out wide, running routes, mismatch against a safety or middle linebacker. Just really sets up a lot of opportunities that I hope that we take advantage of, but I'm not sure.
I don't buy into the Jalen Carter has character issues. I don't buy into it. I don't think there's any proof in it.
There is proof in his game.
And I think that it's mighty suspicious that every year at the draft, around the draft time, good players have character issues. When it is Todd McShay was the one that kept saying Jalen Carter had character issues, but nobody ever says what those character issues are. What were they? Did anybody ever say?
You reckon anybody mentioned Todd McShay being hammered on the sideline as a character issue?
Yes, I do know for sure people mention that because I saw many comments like, this is a dude who showed up hammered to his job.
Yeah.
And, but I did hear people speak up on Jalen Carter's behalf, and some walk-on Jalen Carter paid for his meal plan or something. So that's high character to me.
I agree.
I think that's a terrible. I think the Falcons, I think they missed the boat on having a great player from an in-state college. Now, I did see that Tyler Algier only had 3 touchdowns last year. 1,000 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. That's not a great.
1,000-yard rushing is good though.
Yes, that's good. Not enough touchdowns. And you would think a 1,000-yard rusher would have closer to 10 touchdowns or something, you know.
Yeah, but touchdowns are largely dependent on other things.
Well, yeah, I just wonder so that made me be a little bit more, I guess, accepting of the Bijan draft pick, because they probably think he's going to get in the end zone more often than Algier.
So what about the rest of the draft? I mean, I know everybody pays attention to the number one pick, but what about the rest of the draft? How do you? I mean,
For the Falcons?
Yeah, we got a couple offensive linemen, the late picks.
Well, I do want to say here, I thought that the Falcons would pick an O-lineman, and Big Body Raji told me there was no way the Falcons were going to take an O-lineman.
He's a Falcons expert.
Yeah. Well, according to him, he's an expert on everything. But they did take an O-lineman, and based on the stuff I read, he's one of the better picks that they made, and a lot of people like that
He's
pick.
supposed to be the number one run blocker out of the draft. I really liked him. I really liked Clark Phillips, who was the cornerback out of Utah that we took. He was originally supposed to be like a day 2 pick, like 25th on Bleacher Report's ranking overall, and we ended up getting him 113th, which was the 15th cornerback taken. I really did not like the defensive lineman we took.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
State. He's not a pass rusher. He had
Looks good.
3 sacks. He's a big guy, great kind of swing defensive lineman, but I don't understand why you take him with a pick there. We need pass rush on the outside badly, and we got a guy who gets 3 sacks in college.
You know what? It just seems to me the Falcons are just not. They're just not good at anything. And and I know that's that's definitely
Not good.
That's definitely a generalization.
To take, yeah.
I think now's a good time to give a shout out to Middle Georgia Allergy and Asthma, as Chuck wipes his nose here with this cheap school issue tissue here.
Yeah.
Go say, hey, I got some allergies going on. Chuck's got allergies. Matt just sounds terrible. I don't know if you've got allergies.
I think he had to clear his throat. I go, probably a little allergy going on.
I felt like I was good,
You just sound like that normally.
Where can you go if you got allergy issues, Hight?
Middle Georgia Allergy and Asthma. Dr. Rodney Johnson and physician assistant Jeremy Hightower, my lovely wife. She will get you started on some allergy shots and get you fixed right up. So
We will take compensation for that plug. So whenever y'all hear this, Dr.
Rodney Johnson.
Dr. Johnson.
Hot Rod's what I call him.
Cut us a check.
Never called him that, but
Yeah. So do you think the Falcons were thinking, because they've made all these moves on defense, that was, as far as trades and stuff, that I saw the Falcons had posted that I think it was on the Falcons Facebook page where they had written on a note that said Bijan Robinson no matter what. So I guess that was their way of saying, regardless of how tempting everything else is, like a Jalen Carter.
Well, they did. They picked up 2 D linemen,
2 cornerbacks,
a linebacker, 2 cornerbacks.
So I did see somebody recap the draft and talk about how when you recap a draft, you have to talk about not just draft picks, but what the Falcons got with some of their draft capital. And they traded draft picks for 2 other corners that have started in the NFL. So when you look at that, you say, okay, you got a guy that's a former number 1 pick, for a team, first round pick, just been injured, and so you think, well, maybe that's better than a 5th round guy. So maybe, I don't know. But I had winners. Excuse me.
Let me clear my throat.
So my winners for the draft, UGA football. Obviously, I'm a homer, so I'm gonna call them a winner. Mm-hmm. But they had players drafted these last 3 years. 9 players drafted, 15 players drafted, and 10 players drafted.
Unprecedented.
It is unprecedented. It's never happened before. They, matter of fact, set a record for a 2-year span of 25 players drafted and a 3-year span with 34 players drafted.
I saw they set the record this year for the 2-year, and the record they broke was last year's from the 2-year.
Mm-hmm. And then you never know what happens next year. They may set the record for players drafted 3 years in a row.
Man,
sky's the limit.
What a time.
King Kirby, man, just, you know how many players FSU had drafted?
Tell us.
1. The same as Missouri.
But what did Roger say? That's the only one that they had declared?
He said 1 declared early, another guy graduated. But just,
that just speaks to the job Norvell's doing down there, coaching up those walk-ons. I mean,
Well, they had 10 wins and only one person drafted. Wow.
Hey, according to Raj, Norvell's going to take Kirby's, was it crown or throne, and then hit the table.
He kind of stuttered. Yeah, it was.
His gullet got in the way a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't. Didn't really come out as clear as he wanted it to.
Another winner for me, one Stetson Bennett the fourth.
Yep.
Against all the haters.
All of those haters out there.
Even the people that said he would not go before fifth round, adamant about it.
Yeah. Well, I lost $20 on that one. Yeah.
I don't remember. What was my take on that? Because I don't recall.
You thought he was.
It was the
fifth
over.
round.
I had a over. Well, that was the Vegas set, the over under.
Yeah, and you took the over.
Did I? I had to go back.
We'll go back.
But I tell you what, there's a custodian here. I almost lost $100 to him. He bet me Stet was going in the second round. And I was like, there's no chance. He said, I'll bet you $100. I said, okay. I said, hold on. I said, I'll give you rounds 1 through 4. And I'll take 5, 6, 7 undrafted. And I stuck my hand out. And he says, no, I don't want to. And then I saw him yesterday. And he was giving me the business. And I told him, scare money don't make money. He said he won 50 off somebody else.
So he bet you 100 in the second round, but then you rebutted with a bet that
it was
favored
like
him
3
more.
days later, and when I went after it hard about how you could have first 4 rounds and I'd take the other, I guess that I just overplayed my hand, and he didn't buy into what he was.
That's a good poker face you had. Height. Talked him right out the bet.
Yeah, he said he won 50 off somebody else because they said they bet him 50 Stet wouldn't even get drafted, and he took that easy money.
The Jet.
Would have loved to have that custodial money.
Good for him. Good for him. And he's such a chip on his shoulder guy. He reminds me of the dance with Michael Jordan. He's like, and I took that personally. And I feel like everything that happens to Stet, he's like, I take that personally, and he's going to use it to somehow just be successful in the NFL.
That's what I was going to ask. Does he have success in the NFL? Like,
he's going to.
And I don't really know how to measure that. But if you look back at it one day, do you think you'll be like, yeah, man, that dude was a pretty good NFL quarterback? Does he ever have meaningful NFL reps?
He's got Chase Daniel vibes.
Listen, there's one person I've always envied in the league, and it's Chase Daniel. I mean, carry a clipboard, no pressure, and make a lot of money for a long time.
Honestly, he kind of reminds me of Doug Flutie. You know, he's got some explosive,
A less likable
potential.
Doug Flutie.
Yeah, less hair in the back, less mullet, but less cereal named after him. But
Speaking of much, coming in good.
it's not good.
Give it time.
Be patient, bud.
Yeah. Okay. One of my winners from the draft was the Las Vegas Raiders picked up Christopher Smith. I don't know if y'all remember him from the Bulldogs.
Of course.
He was projected to be a 35th.
Not sure if y'all remember the
pick.
safety that started for Georgia the last couple of years.
Yeah, but he ended up slipping all the way to the 6th round. So I think they got a huge value pick there. Mm-hmm. Great dog, if you remember.
He played for Georgia?
There's a lot of Christopher Smiths out there. It's called
I did go to high school with a Chris Smith.
Yeah.
Any chance you find yourself pulling for the Eagles in this year?
Well, speaking of the Eagles, they were another one of my winners.
Winners
Because do you remember Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith?
of UGA.
Yes. So
Ringo, you remember?
Kelly
Played
Ringo?
corner. Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, we all know the Eagles drafted 3 Georgia players, and
Traded for another
yep, DeAndre Swift, and so
He played at Georgia?
of UGA fame.
anyway, man, I was so mad. We were all texting, and we were all just like, I just knew Jalen Carter. Yeah,
Was that on a different group text than the one out?
Yeah, it was a different.
I don't like that.
You don't want us to be in any other group text?
Well, I noticed it was awful quiet in our group text. I was just wondering.
Well, it is what it is. But it was
Fit in where you fit in.
That's tough.
Well, anyway, Jalen Carter, when he's sitting there, he drops to he's not taken off the board by number 8, and the Falcons are right there. I'm like, they're going to mess this up. I was telling my wife, they're not, for some reason, not going to draft him. They're going to mess this up. And then the Eagles go on their run of Georgia players, and now I'm like, man, they've got 5, 6 Georgia players. They were in the Super Bowl last year. They're pretty good. The Falcons are terrible. they won't draft a Georgia player.
We got a bandwagon application coming out?
I believe it's in process.
Absolutely.
Matt Serene told me that I'm welcome aboard anytime.
I see.
I mean, you never know. Serene's he's a Philly fan when Philly's good, and then when the Georgia teams are good, now he's a Braves fan when they won the World Series. And
No, well, he loves Georgia Bulldogs, but other than that, he's Philly's pro sports teams. But now, to his credit, his parents lived in the same house that Rocky was filmed in. I don't know if you know that.
It's a wild stuff.
This one of the first times I met him, he was adamant that that's where he was raised for a couple of years. It's just one of those things that your parents tell you when you're a little kid.
Like you're the pride of Buddy Johnson Road, kind of things like that.
My parents never told me that. Just
You just earned people.
People, like I've earned that title just throughout all my accolades and accomplishments. I also went to UGA, just like Chris Smith.
Yeah,
so.
True. I see this as a huge win for all Falcons fans because now we can cheer for the Falcons fans and cheer for the Falcons until about week 13 when we're mathematically eliminated, and then we got the Eagles to keep going through the playoffs. I see that as a big win for all of us.
I agree. I like it. All right, before we move to the next segment, guys, if you will, like, subscribe, share. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, make sure you subscribe and follow so you'll get the updates, and be sure to share and tell a friend about it. And we would like to take a moment for a commercial break. For all of your commercial and residential real estate, as well as property management needs, give Premier Properties of Dublin a call at 478-274-1606. Their customer service is unmatched, and I can personally guarantee that they will work with you to get you the deal that you want. Again, that's Premier Properties at 478-274-1606.
This is Brad Meeks, owner of Brian's Giant Subs. Thanks for listening to the Big Ugly Sports Podcast. Come see us today to grab your favorite sub, 1632 Veterans Boulevard in the Oaks Shopping Center, Dublin, Georgia.
Are you tired of overpaying for your cable? Do you feel like you're not getting your money's worth? I've got just a solution for you, J2 Streaming Services. With over 9,000 live channels and packages starting at $15 a month. Visit www.j2streaming.com. Also, Big Peach Car Wash, again, we're getting closer and closer to them making their arrival here across from Highway 80 in Dublin. Be sure to go by, see Kyle Shepard and the gang over there. Thank you for their sponsorship. Also, Blackshear Beverage, right down there on Lake Blackshear. Be sure to go by and see the Hill family down there and tell them the bus team sent you. All right, it is time for our Brian Subs weekly drawing. We've had a lot of people go up there and get them subs, and they're very thankful. Again, thank you to Brian Subs for being generous enough to essentially donate a sub every week to our winner. So this week's winner, we have 22 participants, and the winner is number 9. Number 9, Hight, who is number 9? Man, I got all kind of sign of stuff.
All right, so the winner would be Ree Wilcher. But Ree has told me if her name is drawn, to give it to somebody else.
Maybe the person she tagged in it?
So that's what I was thinking. We'll go with the person she tagged. We'll go Katie Lee Carroll.
Katie Lee Carroll. Shout out.
Great.
I was going to be
She's I guess she's a nurse up there at Fairview.
Ree, make sure you tell her if she's not listening, make sure she's listening, but then to go by and get her a sub from Brian.
Yeah,
so,
we definitely need to get a little social media love from folks that are winning this. We might have to change up the requirements to win, be a little more involved. But Katie Lee Carroll, big
we'll
winner.
discuss that in the production meeting.
Yeah, that's true. Matt, you won't be allowed in
Not privy to that.
meeting.
That's fine.
That's fine. So what height you have some stuff?
Circle back real quick. I had
a dead horse here.
These just being prepared. Mike Thompson-esque. But so some surprises for me in the draft. Max Duggan going 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he'd go earlier than that. Really thought he'd have been picked up before Step. But
Where'd he go? Do you know?
yeah,
That's not important.
I saw it last night. Didn't know. Then I feel like the Colts, big reach, Anthony Richardson, number 4. I just don't. You've seen it too many times. A mediocre college quarterback, but he's super athletic. So people fall in love with him because of the combine numbers, and so they reach on it. I mean, it's just I just don't believe in it. So those were some big surprises.
Who's their quarterback now?
Florida?
No.
Or the Colts?
Colts. Dude, keep up.
Well, it was Matt Ryan and
Carson, no.
no, it
Give
was
me a blank stare like,
I mean, I don't,
He's like, man, I didn't prepare for that.
I can't
hey, I
remember
don't. Are there plans for him to be the day one starter? That's kind of where I was going with that.
I hope not. I hope not.
They don't have anybody.
I'm talking about the Colts. No. So
Anyway, it was just a
Misleading.
real quick thing, but I had it prepared, so I wanted to get it out there.
all right, that all we got from the NFL. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little Braves baseball right now. Again, we record these on Tuesdays, be published on Wednesday, so they will have played. I think they play the Marlins tonight. Mm-hmm. But finished one of the game rained out. Took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. So, how do you guys feel about where we are so far?
I'm feeling good, man. We got 4th best record in baseball. I'm a little concerned, and I did see. And here's one of the reasons why you don't get included in all our messages, because I said something about the Braves being mediocre at home, and instead of you adding some type of sports analysis,
What'd he do, Hight?
He said, "Why are you mediocre at home?"
It was good. He got a couple of laughs.
Yeah, it good. It's good. I mean,
I just want to challenge you to be better. I don't understand why that's a bad thing.
You want him to keep that same energy he's got for the Braves on why he's mediocre when he's
if
on.
you're going to be the pride of
you
Buddy
know-
Johnson Road, you got a
here's-
high standard.
But my thing is, you could have at least answered the question after the fact, but you never did. You just let it
you
ride.
didn't answer my question either, so
So you Socrates now? You answer a question with a question? Stupid.
Shout out Mr. Garnto, the king of doing that. Clifford Garnto,
Yeah.
king answered a question with a question.
that's some next
Can't
level
make
stuff.
you feel
next
little.
level
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Hey, Mr. Garnto, such and what? Well, why did you do whatever you did?
You're like, all right, good enough, thank you.
Anyway,
It frustrates lesser people. I understand that, Mr. Garnto.
All right.
anyway, so yeah, they're 5-5 in the last 10 games. Overall, 7-7 at home, 12-3 on the road. What I can't.
How about the boy Murphy? Murphy's
Dude.
tearing the cover off the ball.
Sir.
6 RBIs, 2 home runs yesterday in the first game. Riding a heater.
I thought it was a misprint when I looked at it because it was on ESPN. It was the same thing. Olsen homered center, Acuna Jr. scored. Murphy homered center, Acuna Jr. scored. Olsen scored both times. I mean, word for word.
So we lost 1-1 yesterday. Both pretty high scoring games. Acuna went out with injury, getting hit in the shoulder. That was kind of scary because it was really close to hitting him in the face. MRI showed no structural damage, so he's day to day. That's good news. But man, he gets hit a lot. And
He does.
What causes that?
I don't know if that's him.
And so is your reply, well, why did you get hit at home?
I rubbed my mouth too much. I don't know. That's it's frustrating. He keeps getting hit. But I guess when you're that good, you got to stay off the plate.
Do you think it has anything to do with how he carries himself with a little bit of?
Well, that's the first thing that went into my mind. I was like, it's not like he is just outwardly asking for it, but he's hitting 364, 5 home runs. He's the leader in the clubhouse for MVP right now. It kind of reminds me of somebody we know who doesn't really even have to do anything, but just is like the first guy somebody wants to fight in the parking lot. I have played many softball tournaments with Jay Bridges where
I thought you were going to say don't have to do anything at work, but still the guy.
everybody can talk trash, and Jay might say something under his breath, and that's the guy they bump up.
First of all, Jay's never said anything under his breath. Joker's loud.
well,
So you think Acuna's a little extra, and that's why
He is extra. He is. But now he is super talented and backs it up with his numbers and stuff too. But he's very, very flamboyant, and I think he really likes himself a lot.
I could see if I'm not a Braves fan how he could be a guy I wouldn't really like.
well,
But as a Braves fan,
I don't like all that stuff. I never have. Now, does it bother me to the extent it used to? No.
you don't like when he says too little. That's their thing.
I love
Yeah,
it.
well,
I love it.
Too little.
Well, it's funny, but is it disrespectful to the pitcher? I mean, and baseball is a different sport. You don't. There's always been you don't disrespect people in baseball. You
Or
don't
you
do
get
it.
hit, don't you?
Mm-hmm. And so, I think it's got to be one of those things. If you're going to run your mouth, if you're going to showboat and do all that stuff, then you're going to have to take the good with the bad, and you're going to somebody's going to run you on your chin a little bit. That's just part of it. And I've even been on the Braves Facebook page, like the fan Facebook page. It's where I think we're all members. Mm-hmm. I'll get on there and argue with people about
you. Mm-hmm. Argue. Hi,
message board guy.
Will he?
I get in there and gas them up. I get in there and gas them up. I love it. And then somehow Adam Logue always finds my post. But I made a post one time. I was glad that the Braves won the World Series while Acuna was injured, because it showed him that the Braves don't need him. And that was not necessarily true, because
fast forward here, he's batting .368.
Yeah, but some humble pie never hurts.
Right. I mean, I don't disagree with that, and I don't dislike the things that he does. He's got some things he celebrates. I mean, Ozzy does a lot of the same thing. They do it together. I mean, people do it all the way. I think excitement is good for the game.
He'll hit a home run. He'll do LeBron stomp. Then he'll do the ice tray. Then he
does that little thing at third.
He Euro steps to third,
and he does Euro too.
Then he does "You're too little." That's 4.
He's got a lot he's got to say,
and he probably bat flips and stares at 2. So, and it's just too much.
Don't let him hit a home run. I mean, I don't know.
Or hit him in the shoulder. I'm just saying.
Well,
it's part
there's a way to throw inside, and that was not how you throw inside.
How many big league games?
Unwritten rule of baseball.
Okay.
Well, the good thing about the Braves too is you said we're 4th or 5th in the
4th best record in the ball.
19-10.
That's in the majors altogether.
Yeah,
and we're still not all the way healthy.
Yeah.
Darno must have. I mean, I've never seen a concussion as bad as he got. Because
is this his first concussion? I don't think so.
I don't know. But he's been out a minute.
Braves win the World Series.
19-10. We're on pace to win 106 games.
Strider wins Cy Young.
3 games up on New York right now.
Frank the Tank.
Strider.
Dude's so devastated.
Strider is on pace as the leader for the Cy Young. Acuna's the leader for the MVP.
Strider had a stretch of 9 games in a row with 9 Ks, and broke it yesterday. Only had 8.
He is averaging 13 strikeouts a game.
The cool thing I thought, or not cool, but I guess good for him, is he had some adversity yesterday, which you don't really feel like he's had a lot of that this year. But they came on him a little bit early and got some runs, and so it was good to see him. I just don't know. We were talking about this a little bit yesterday. Like, there's a lot of guys in the league that throw 98, but his just must be different because they can't hit it. A lot of people. I mean, most people that are throwing that hard for the most part are an inning or 2 guys, where he's, running out there 6, 7, 8 innings and still gassing it. But it must have some late movement or something, because they struggle with it. All right, moving into our final segment here, we've got, and some may say that this will determine who is the pride of Buddy Johnson Road. We got a little trivia here, a little Opie versus Hight. Now, full transparency here, Hight. Can I be full transparency?
Full transparency. That's fine. That's
full
fine.
Transparency, Opie. I almost gave in. If there had been a little more time, whatever. But Hight wanted the answers to these questions so that he could.
It might have been fair. I did.
Oh, that would have made it fair.
In all fairness, let me full disclosure. I was part of the Quiz Bowl team growing up, so.
Well, I've got
a ring.
So I thought it would be funny if we went into this thing and because I know how he is. Now, he's hanging his hat on his middle school quiz bowl thing here. So I know how he is, and I knew it would have made good radio if I shut him out.
So is this going to mean a lot more to him than it would, like, if he were to steal this?
One thing about being confident.
Get out of that.
Still.
That's one thing about being confident. Like, I could lose 5 of these to him and still
be the pride.
There's never losing sleep over it. I know where I'm number 1.
Is that being confident or being oblivious? It's a fine line.
Depends on who you ask, I guess. All right, y'all ready?
Yep.
All right, I've got 8 questions here, okay, from all over the spectrum. For this first one, in case you don't know the answer, we'll take the closest answer, okay? And it is first answer. Please don't shout. Mics are sensitive. We don't want to bust people's speakers in their cars. They're listening.
There's no buzzer.
So no buzzer. You just
answer.
say the answer.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. How long in meters? Now I'm looking for meters. Is an Olympic swimming pool? How many meters?
81.
150.
All right, it's 50. All right, so I'm up.
I'm up.
That was quick. All right, looking for a person's
Boat race.
name here. Going way back, a little history here. Who named the Pacific Ocean? And this was, hold on, I'll give you a hint. Do y'all, either one of you know right off rip?
No.
Okay. First to say, I'm pretty sure, first to sail around the world.
Ferdinand Magellan.
Ferdinand Magellan.
Oh, man. I was going Ponce de Leon.
So 2-0.
That's a terrible guess.
Yeah.
He only made it over to America, so he never even.
Do you like my hint there? Throw a little history at you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, he's a history major.
No, I'm not.
Well,
Political science.
But
You got a double major in
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Is it a minor?
Now, do I know enough to have a double major? Sure. There's enough knowledge.
You didn't
here
get
for that.
a minor or anything in history?
so the quiz bowl didn't cover like a variety of subjects?
It did. It was a long time ago.
All right. Well, you brought it up. So.
What happened first? Ferdinand Magellan or your quiz bowl?
All right, this is an easy one, so it's going to be a quick trigger here.
That last one was easy.
Which animal can be seen on the Porsche logo?
A horse.
Mustang. Horse.
That was a tie. That was a
We
tie.
had
Y'all
to check
both came
record.
out the gate horse right there.
All right, so no point.
No point.
Still
so we're
2-0.
Still 2-0. All
How many
right.
questions we got left?
We got 8.
I would prefer if
8
we
total.
both got points on that one instead of.
So you don't get shut out?
yeah.
All right, number 3. Or number 4. What is the rarest M&M color?
Blue.
Pink.
Brown. Brown is the rarest. So
They're all
still-
brown on the inside.
So till 2 rock. What is the common name for dried plums?
Dates.
Figs.
Prunes. Maybe I went too hard on these. Sorry, I thought
feel like I was closer on that one.
No.
you still have 0.
It's still
Now,
2
all right,
rock. And,
another easy
and
one.
points are
How many colors are there in the rainbow?
6,
6,
7.
5, 6, 7.
Well, y'all both counted too. Where'd you go? You got Roy G. Biv on, right?
Yeah, I was doing that, but I thought he was going to beat me. Hey, but look,
Still 2.
now, well, I should get a point because I said
No.
I was closest,
No.
No, I didn't
both-
preface that by saying
Okay.
closest on that one.
but I said it first.
All right, number 7. In what type? So we're talking about types of matter here. Okay, There's only a handful of choice here. What type of matter are atoms most tightly packed?
Gases.
Gas is when they're most loosely
Solid.
solid.
I said that
3-0
first.
3-0 height.
I said that
This
first.
dude said gas. Just floating around.
All right, I'll take the closest here in degrees Celsius. I'm sorry. Won't take the closest here. What is the hottest planet in the solar system?
That sounds like a trick
I
question.
know you wanted to say sun, but that's not a planet. Saturn.
Mercury.
Venus.
Venus.
460 degrees Celsius. So you finished with 0.
I was the closest.
I didn't, but
Mercury is closer to Venus than.
But he didn't preface. Wow.
That was a terrible
embarrassing.
trivia. Nobody cares about
You-
science and history.
You know what's
trivia.
crazy?
should have been sports.
Should have been sport.
Hey, you know what's
Sports
crazy?
show.
I was ready for sports trivia. I wasn't
Listen,
ready for science and history.
If I had lost that, it would not have dethroned me as Pride of Buddy Johnson Road.
However-
but since I won,
Confirmation.
all it did was reinforce.
Hey, congratulations, Si. You
That-
deserve it. And that's without knowing the answer.
That's one of my lowest moments of my entire life.
You're a moron.
0.
It wasn't even close. 3-0, is that the final?
Well, I tell you what that did was make both of us look bad. That was not good.
So next time, I guess I'll go sports. I'll just stay in the sports lane. I was trying to, but I know the Hightowers are one thing I know about, and their sports across all. They're smart across all topics.
I would have said that before this segment. Absolutely.
God, you're an idiot.
How's it feel?
I think
Just tell the people
I
how
think
you
I'm
feeling
still a
right
little
now.
nervous with the podcast. Adam's obviously much more comfortable.
I'm a younger brother.
Some folks just got it all, Chill.
Some folks just got it all.
That hurt. That hurt my pride. I'm gonna think about that for a while.
Congratulations there, Hight. Hope you bring us home right here.
All right, if you would give us a listen on Spotify,
Dude's looking at the sign back there. He don't know what to say.
YouTube, Apple Podcast.
He don't know what some of
or
the,
something.
he don't know what those logos are. He don't know what the logos
There's so
are.
many logos out there.
Hey, be sure to give us a follow, a subscription on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel. We also have BigUglySports.com.
Again, we are the Big Ugly Sports Show. Thank you to our title sponsor, Premier Properties of Dublin. Like they said, make sure you're following, subscribe, and Opie, before we close, just make sure you hit up the guy for the t-shirts for us.
Somebody should.
Somebody's got us.
Hey, I do appreciate you showing up early this morning, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Hey, wherever you at, Hight, what you need to do? Hold on. Get up on that bus.
It's a move.
I blew that.